So we are back where we started, at the top of the Infinity Blade forum, and we're going to talk a little bit about finding things and navigating. The first thing I have to mention is the search function. So depending on which skin you have, and let me show you the skins real fast. Oops. Settings, you can check this out. And the skin is just kind of like what your page looks like, right? You can choose your skins here, and I'm using Infinity Blade 2 fixed. But my search function is up here. Okay. The problem is it default searches the entire forum and not just the Infinity function is a good place to go. However, recently, or several months ago, I'm not really sure, I'm not good with time, but a little while back, I created the useful threads list, of course with name variations over time here, but it's always been kind of the same sort of thing. And I'm going to show that to you. And this is not meant as a self-promotional thing, but it is actually meant for navigation. So if I didn't show it to you guys and using it as navigation, then I think I'd be doing a disservice. So, and again, this is not meant for self-promotion here. So the useful threads list. This contains basically all the threads that are the most viewed or quote-unquote the most useful, whatever you deem useful to be. Maybe your definition of useful is different than mine, I really don't know. Okay, so I guess before you post a new thread with a question or a comment or a theory or something else, you should probably check here first to make sure it's not already posted. Otherwise someone is just going to put a link to this thread or just say, hey buddy, use the search function, or if they're kind, which they should be, by the way, then they will actually answer your question. Okay, but I would check here first just so that, it doesn't look like you're lazy or anything, because laziness is not a good virtue. Alright, so let's check this out here. And again, even if you have a new idea, it's not just a question, I would check this out first. Okay, so let's just kind of go through it a little bit, starting with the starter pack. And we're going to open some of these threads here and check them out. So we use a lot of abbreviations on the forum. So I know in the last video I mentioned PM, and that's private message. Or this thread is the UTL, useful threads list. Alright, so all these different abbreviations can be found here. And I don't know if it needs updated or not, but you can definitely check this out. Okay, so that's an awesome resource. The debate thread. We have a lot of debates, and oftentimes we don't want discussions to be kind of out in the open, taking over people's threads, destroying the original intent of the thread by the person who posted the thread. So for that reason, we transfer all or most of our future debates to here, the debate thread. So check that out. If you see an argument happening, please post the link to the debate thread where the debate is occurring. And last but not least, the Infinity Blade forum frequently asked questions. A lot of people ask similar things like, how do I get the vial set, or the gem set, or my game keeps crashing or something. Okay, so oftentimes this is found in the frequently asked questions, and you can check that out. It is a very good resource. Next is the one answer question thread, rather. Sorry. And in this thread, you can find short questions with short answers, essentially. And kind of what I would like to do with this thread, since we don't have something anywhere near to this yet, maybe someone can make something, I don't really know. But it's just, if you have a question that's not been answered, instead of posting a new thread, you could even post it here. And I know I didn't cover this in the last video, but even if it's not a new thread, if you post a comment on a thread, it will bump it to the top of the forum. Okay, so if I were to post a comment in here, it would now be at the top of the forum. Okay, so people will see that comment. So you can post your questions here. If you want Game Center friends or Clash Mob friends, you can also look here. Clash Mob thread, Game Center friend thread. Those are awesome. And if you're the creative type who has ideas about future games or updates, check out the new IB3, which is Infinity Blade 3 wishlist thread. And you can post your ideas in there. So let's move on through the UTL here and check out some of the other things. So this is the guides section, and these guides are created by some of our most prominent forum members, and they're very useful, very, very useful. And I'm sure that a lot of people are looking for gameplay videos or GIFs, which are just basically a compilation of a couple of pictures to kind of show new players or less experienced players how to counter a certain step back or a certain move that an enemy might make. And you can find a lot of these moving images in the step backs guide, in Silver's duel guide, and there are also actual links to YouTube videos here in the video section under Bladet's gameplay videos or Bladet's video thread reproduction. Okay, so you can find videos there, GIFs, in some of the guides. The rest of these guides you should also look at because they talk about, you know, achievements or leveling up, speed leveling, using elemental attacks, negative rebirths. If you're not familiar with what that is, maybe you could look at that here. That's probably also in the frequently asked questions. So the guide's just a general good place to look. Alright, so moving on to the reference section. The reference section is pretty basic. It has a lot of things in there about gems, elemental attack, you know, finding keys, treasure maps, etc. So if you have a question on something that's not in the guide section, and a lot of the guide stuff is included in Silver's Beast's Guide to Infinity Blade 2, so you might want to read through that too. But if you're missing some information, it might be in here. And again, if the things aren't in the reference section or in the guides, you could always go back and ask in the one answer question thread. Alright, so that's the reference section. Videos, I've already kind of covered that. We can talk about external links in a moment. Clubs. This is a huge thing. A lot of people like making their own clubs, and actually this is encouraged on the forum. I wouldn't say that anybody has negative feelings toward fledgling clubs. The only thing is we don't want them kind of destroying the importance of our three main clubs that have been well established here for quite some time. So the God King Club, the Pantheon Club, and the Level 2K Club. And you can check those clubs out. These are like the best of the best players here gathering together, trying to reach these clubs or trying to join these clubs. So go ahead and check all three of these out if you're one of those elite players and you want a challenge. Alright, so those are awesome. And as for the other clubs, for new people or existing forum members who create clubs, you can have your club posted here. And I will add that here, other clubs. And if you're not sure if it will be, you know, like a good club to make, you can always look at the guidelines for making a new club. So we have pretty general suggestions on what to do if you make a new club here, and requests just to not destroy the importance of these three major clubs. You know, we're all about respect here. So check out there, and if you want to just suggest something to run it by other forum members, again, comment in here with your suggestion. It'll bump it to the top of the forum. People will let you know what they think. They will give you feedback, I promise. Okay? So, always know that that is an open idea, is new clubs. And hey, if it takes off, if it's difficult and relevant, maybe it'll become a big club. I don't know. We'll see where it goes. Alright? So external links, I'll cover that in a second. Technical. A lot of people come in here with bugs, or they're having trouble with iCloud or save files or whatever it may be. Check that out here, technical section. These are all fantastic threads and they walk you through that stuff. And if you have a bug that hasn't been fixed, you can report it here in MPLoose's Infinity Blade 2 Master Bug List. Alright, the big kahuna, the large section here. I am personally probably more theorist than anything else. So you can check out theories here. A lot of different theories, and this is probably the weediest section of the UTL. Things need to be taken out because they're outdated. But a lot of times it's not just the original post that has the good stuff. If you read through all the comments, those have a lot of good things too. So if you're going to suggest a theory like Infinity Blade 2's relation to mythology, or who are the Blade Masters, or who are the Deathless, where did they come from, what is the Pantheon, etc., you might want to check these out because I know for a fact that all of that stuff is in here and plenty more. Alright, so check it out. The entertainment section. This is probably one of my favorite sections, if not my favorite section. These are just people who have thought of funny or creative things and they've put it in here. And I've also included the art thread, the fan art thread from Lazar in here. Okay, so just things like the Infinity Blade meme thread, rate the signature above you, the picture thread, you know you're addicted to Infinity Blade when you can go ahead and post on those. It'll bump it to the top of the forum, and people love participating in these. They're quite hilarious at times. So enjoyable if you're looking for something lighthearted. I don't know. Check it out. Alright, so as for external links, other places that you can look for good information. Alright, we have the Infinity Blade Facebook fan page. You can check that out here. The Infinity Blade Fan Tube, which is the YouTube channel that I am posting this video on. You should already know where that is. Otherwise, you may have some issues. And also the Infinity Blade Wiki. And this is actually a really good resource, the Wiki. Recently has been revived by a good forum member, and he is working on revamping it, going through, creating new pages, and he's very dedicated to his work there. So if you want to help out, support that cause, check out the Wiki. It's a really, really great place, and it is coming along quite well. So, other than that, that's about all I have for navigation, finding things in the forum. And again, please don't post things that you haven't already kind of searched for in the UTL or using the search function. And if you have a question, you can post it in the one answer question thread. Alright, so that's all I have for this episode. In the next part, I'll be talking a little bit about the trolls, helping the community, and you know, just places that you can look for advice. So that's what I'll be talking about in the next video. If you love Infinity Blade, please like this video and subscribe to our page. And have an excellent evening.